Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Coach Taryn, founder of Different Breed. Today, I've got a video that I am very excited to share with you. This is a conversation with my ex-client, my good friend, and now business partner, Ree. Ree's journey is one of the most amazing stories I've had the pleasure of being a part of since I've been a coach, and it is genuinely inspiring. She's gone from severe injury to elite athletic performance to now being one of the head coaches and directors of Different Breed, all whilst being over 30. Ree exemplifies everything Different Breed is about and is truly inspiring. So if you've been injured or you think your time is up, I really suggest you listen to this conversation because it isn't. And this conversation shows exactly what you can achieve if you approach it with the right attitude and the right support. I hope you enjoy it.
What did you have for breakfast?
3 bacon, 1 egg.
3 bacon, triple bacon.
Triple bake. What did you have?
So I actually was gonna have really fancy breakfast of like scrambled egg and smoked salmon on toast, but I got the eggs out, got the salmon out, didn't fancy it. Went for the old protein oats, didn't I?
Brother, may I have some oats? No. I am starving, brother.
Okay, let's do this.
Who the fuck is Ree?
Yeah.
And I will tell you that. No, so I suppose, yeah, we started training together probably about 3.5, 4 years ago.
Yes.
And I ended up training with you because I'd come to this new gym in Bristol called Sweatbox, and I was looking for a personal trainer. And I got the mad recommendation, like 5 gold stars on TripAdvisor vibes from one of your current clients who actually yapped my ear off for about, I think, maybe 30 minutes or so. And I couldn't leave because she was like, Sam is so good because of this, because of this. I was like, okay, maybe I should train with him. But I had previously to that already seen your social media stuff on the old Instagrams. Quite liked your philosophy and the way you thought about stuff. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I fuck with this. I think this guy might be good to train me. And the rest is history.
Yeah, boy.
Obviously, you came to Sweatbox, you found me, which I'm very happy about. But what made you look for a new gym? What was going on? What happened?
So I had been doing a lot of Muay Thai previously, which I fell in love with a few years back. Just found it an amazing martial art. The intensity was really good. I loved the style of training. I loved how it made me think about stuff. Because I've got quite a varied movement background, but that was the previous thing I was doing. Decided that I wanted to go to Thailand to train. So I'd been to Thailand once and then come back and I absolutely loved it. The style of training, how much I learned. I stayed 2 weeks the first time. Then post-COVID, as a birthday present to myself as well, I decided, look, I'm going to go out and actually train in Thailand for a couple of months. And that was going to be, I was absolutely, as you can imagine, like buzzing
Yeah.
to do that, especially after we all kind of like just couldn't go out for so long. I trained for about a month in Phuket and loved it. However, after month 1, I was sparring at the end of a session in a new gym with a crew or a coach that I hadn't sparred with before. And the story goes, I actually caught him with a question mark kick to the head. Caught him with that and then he kind of responded and I went to switch kick him and then he just absolutely swept the fuck out of my leg. And I felt my knee go like this, boom, boom. Yeah. And then
I was already cringing as you started telling the story because I know what happened.
cut to me on the floor like, oh shit, something's really bad has gone on here. Turns out that I had in fact torn my ACL completely, or the guy in Thailand tore my ACL.
Yeah.
Something got torn.
A random coach who couldn't deal with being question mark kicked.
Yeah, exactly. So that had happened, and as you can imagine, for someone that my life revolves around movement, around exercise, around fitness, being told you have like a major injury was a huge blow. Anyone that has had such an injury or previously had the ability to do something and then had that taken away, whatever point you start from, it is, your mental health can have a really big impact. And that was absolutely true for me. So all of a sudden I'd gone from you can do everything to there's something wrong to then having the clear light of day being like, here's your scan. You need surgery if you want to, have a knee again. So that was a massive blow. Then I ended up coming to Sweatbox. I tried to pick myself up a little bit and be like, right, I need to continue my strength training because obviously I've fucked my knee, but there's still stuff I can do. I'd done probably about a month and a half, 2 months of my own programming where I was really lackluster in my approach. I wasn't motivated and I didn't really have a plan.
Okay.
And it sucked.
I think Coolsville sucks.
Some days I'll be just approaching it with a really laissez-faire, like, what am I even doing here? I'll just make it up as I fucking go along.
It's hard when post-injury, especially for someone like yourself, you were all into functional fitness, Muay Thai, like that was the big things for you. Obviously you'd done lifting, but you weren't a powerlifter or anything. It's not like you wanted to be in the gym doing reps, it's devastating and it's so hard to build an internal drive when you're just like, well, what do I do now?
Completely. And because I had nothing, like mentally, I had nothing to work towards. When you're injured, you feel a bit hopeless. And that was for me really, really crap. So one day I was training outside, just like having yaps to people. Sometimes I yap in the gym.
Yeah, classic.
Occasionally. And it was one of your clients. And she chewed my ear off about how great you were as a coach. I already was aware of your work and the stuff you're doing. This was probably pre-Different Breed, actually. This is when you were
this would have been pre-different, because we met before Different Breed was like a twinkle in my eye.
Exactly. So that was like the OG, the old days. She was working around different injuries herself as well at the time, and just knew that you were an amazing PT. About 30 minutes later, she's still going on. I'm like, right, fuck it. I'm just going to book in a session with this guy. From that moment, we started to work together, looking at, it was an optimistic approach. Okay, you're injured, but what can we do? Where can we go? Where can we take things? And that absolutely like flipped the switch for me in terms of, right, okay, I'm ready to still make progress. Because just because I had a bad knee didn't mean that I couldn't progress in anything.
No.
And it's that, like, I think I wanted to do things and I wanted to push myself forward and I still wanted to develop. But on my own at that time, I was, even though I technically had the knowledge, I wasn't able to do it. So coming and working with you, we then looked at like, what were we going to do in terms of building my strength? And that led to me unlocking my first bodyweight pull-up of my life during a period where, you know, on paper, I'm injured, I'm out of action, but I'm developing. So my first bodyweight pull-up, which I didn't think I was ever going to get. Genuinely.
Yeah. I remember having that conversation with you and being like, you could obviously do a pull-up, mate.
I know, and
you were just like, no. And I was like,
What?
So, I mean, if you think about it, during that first period of time, between me finding out that I had a major injury, before I even went into surgery, I unlocked my pull-up, I unlocked my bodyweight dip as well, which is huge. I'm so proud of those things because my mental health's like really on the rise now because I'm unlocking things, I'm progressing, I'm doing stuff while still in a state where I'm waiting for surgery, seeing what's going on there. Alongside, my physio kind of gave me this sign off, like, you can still do these style of movements. Here's my prehab stuff that you can do, but then with your PT, here's the stuff that you're signed off to be able to do. You then came to me with a plan of action of like, here's what the physio has said you can do. Here's my program for you that is going to strengthen that knee to make sure we go into surgery feeling the strongest possible. And the physio was like blown away. We did a triple hop test before surgery, from when I first went in to see the physio and then pre-surgery. I'd actually like improved massively. That was wild. He was blown away.
You had a good physio, and I will say, what was one of the really exciting things from a coaching perspective, he said, well, your knee can do the movements, you just don't have an ACL, but you can't make it worse. And we started off, you couldn't squat past the box.
No.
By the end of the time we were training together, we got the chin up and we got that, and I was really proud of that. But for me, in my mind, that was like an inevitability.
Inevitable.
What I was shocked by is that you came out with a PB deadlift and you had full range front squats at like body weight comfortably before you went into surgery with an ACL tear.
I actually did PB my deadlift, didn't I, before surgery?
It was like 130. It was a ridiculous PB.
It was a big PB.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was nuts. And it's just the confidence as well that I'm going into surgery feeling strong and feeling like I've done a really good job. And the surgeon, the physio, everyone told me that, you know, I was in a really good position to not only go into surgery, but then give myself a great chance of the rehab post-surgery. So that was fucking baller.
Yeah, because you made a really good point. It's hard to come in and feel motivated, like, what are you going to do? But you came in and then we could say, well, okay, you can do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing is like having the knowledge, you need to prep for surgery. You can't just, like, even if you're injured, you need to train. But if you're prepping for surgery, like you're about to get cut open, your body needs to be strong and ready. And really the physio gave us clear to say, you need to get your legs strong because you're about to cut it open. And we did that. And it was genuinely awesome to see. You had the surgery, you got back in the gym. You were like up and walking the next day. I'm pretty sure I saw you like limping around on crutches in the gym.
The first week was savage. It was really hard. I mean, they do a full-on slice open of your knee, drill through the bone, like steal a little tendon from here, twizzle it up, put it back inside. There's a whole business going on in there. But yeah, you're right. So the advice was, as soon as we can start weight bearing and walking on it, we can. It differs for different people, but I was in the gym, I think within a week. The thing that allowed me to do that was my mindset, because I'd been going into surgery feeling so strong. Like, obviously my legs straight away, I had like strict physio stuff that I had to do for the surgery, but that didn't stop me from doing like some shoulder press, some seated like overhead press, stuff like that.
Because we just did wham upper body for like every day. You got an 8 kilo bench in that time. And in the meanwhile, you were working around the knee. Like, so you had physio stuff, but it was also like, well, we work the other leg. We do things like that.
I was allowed to still do things on the other side. And by continuing the work that we were doing in the programming to strengthen my left leg, it had like, you know, definitely positive payoffs to my right leg. So it just meant that I was kind of super confident with the healing process. And it's that mental health and mindset thing, that because I knew that there were still things we could continue to push. We could still do bench, we could still do the illegal bench overhead press thing, which again brought me so much joy because I was still pushing for stuff within the like realms of what the physio and the surgeon said were fine, but they were kind of, you're cool to go and train as long as you're not extending the surgery knee in a particular way or loading it in this way, which again, I was able to take the information from my surgeon and my physio, give that to you. You were then able to craft a program around that to make sure that I was, within the limits of what I've been advised medically, but then able to still move forward and progress and allow myself to, still unlock new skills, like hit PBs and everything like that.
To be honest, for me, there's three major things that really stand out with your recovery. And I think this is just an example of why training in tandem with what the physios are telling you is so important, because it's like the physio isn't everything. It's the integration into your daily life and your daily training.
Yeah.
Number one was your speed of recovery. You got signed off in the quickest time possible.
9 months, yeah.
Yeah. So to go from full ACL tear surgery to be considered 100% back to normal and safe within 9 months is incredible. And then there's two things you did that was really cool. You competed in powerlifting twice, and it was within 9 months of it. You got cleared, and then you were like, I want to compete.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can tell us about that. How did you find your first powerlifting comp post knee surgery? You did a second one.
It's nuts, because if you would have told me 5 years ago I was going to do powerlifting at that point in my life, I would have told you to piss off. Like, nah, I'm doing Muay Thai. I'm a fighter. I'm doing conditioning. I'm running. And actually, the idea of doing powerlifting, then as soon as I started focusing on strength and like adjusting my goals, then it became something, actually, I could totally do this. We were really fortunate enough that there was like a local comp coming up, and we had a chat about it. Again, having that guidance from you as a coach to be able to like, right, what things are we going to shoot for? What are we going to aim for? And then it allowed me to, actually realize that, cool, maybe I could do a powerlifting competition. And again, I was, cracking on with the physio. I was really diligent doing all my like physio stuff, but then alongside my training still kept up with my sessions, everything that we did together. And then I went and did really well in the powerlifting comp. I got a massive bench.
Yeah.
When I actually went to give in my numbers at the start, I went and gave the 3 in, and the bench number, the person on the desk was like, what? Like, are you sure? But I was sure. And we had a bit of back and forth, and we're like, no, that's fine, because I just worked really hard on my bench, so I still managed to see that progress.
With that being said, you also hit a PB on your deadlift that day.
Yeah.
So, post knee surgery, 9 months out. And all of that, I would say, is due to the fact that you really consistently kept training. Of course, working with a physio is important, but I think, again, come back to this idea of like, you don't need to stop because you're injured. It's about integrating what you can do.
Well, it's the integration, isn't it? Because the physio was only concentrating on this part of me, my leg, my hammy, what we're doing to rehab the quad here, and again, testing around that. But there's still like, the rest of my body where it's one system that we need to be looking at. And that's the value of having the programming and the coaching, is that it looks at the system as a whole, the lifestyle element, the recovery elements, and actually how we're going to progress things. And that alongside a physio was just what I think was just a game changer for me, really. And I managed to get my confidence back and be using the knee like normal, and even get back to Muay Thai. I think I was kicking the bag again, probably about 10 or 11 months getting that confidence back, but I knew it was strong. So
the final thing that I think blew me away post-injury, post-surgery. So we did these 9 months, we did the powerlifting comps, and these were great goals to set. But then you went, fuck it, I'm going to enter a national rowing championship. Bear in mind, you hadn't rown?
I had not rowed before.
Correct? You hadn't rown before, you haven't rowed before.
Yeah.
And you went in and you fucking won.
Yeah, that was outrageous.
A year out from an ACL surgery. What was that about? Go on, give us some insight.
Fuck knows. Nah, I'm a really driven person. I love my training and I love taking on new challenges. So the ability that we built up, the confidence in, actually, like, my body's cool. Like, I've had the surgery, but I can still do stuff with my knees. I'm still powerful. I went to the powerlifting comp, that proved my strength is there. And I've always quite liked rowing. I would never identify as a rower. I'm a bit of an erg nerd. So.
So bad.
What? Erg nerd? Like, ooh, concept 2, come for me. Fine. Okay, look, I just like a ski, row, and sometimes a bike. I've always enjoyed those machines, and I was testing my row one day, and I was kind of like, hey, I've got quite a good time on this. And then I think I just went and sent it as probably the answer. More training, more self-belief, and then, to come out of knee surgery into 2 powerlifting competitions, winning the British Indoor Rowing Championships.
It's an incredible example of how quickly you can recover and how fast you can not only get back to where you were, but actually take yourself past that point. You were stronger. You were faster. You won a bloody championship.
Won a bloody medal, I did.
Yeah, you won a medal. You were doing pull-ups. It's awesome. And I think you're a perfect example of what you can do if you put the work in. And not to out you, but also you did this over 30.
I'm considerably over 30 as well. I'm not just like 31 or 32, I'm more than that.
Most people would say in your 30s you're done, regardless of injury. You had what is an injury that most people say takes them out of training forever, went through surgery, and you did all of that within 9 months of it being okay.
Yeah, now we're talking about it, it's kind of nuts, isn't it?
No, it's crazy, and I think it's like genuinely incredible. Do you have anything you would say to anyone who's kind of like just hit 30? Maybe they've been injured, because it's a common thing to happen. You train for long enough, injury's going to crop up.
This is the thing, right? Like if you are an athlete, whatever level you're training at, if you are consistently doing sport, martial arts, whatever, your injury is inevitable.
Yeah.
However, in my experience and in my journey, what I've managed to prove to myself is that I can go through a major injury, and thanks to consistent support coaching and programming, I'm able to come out better in terms of like my overall strength, power, movement than I was pre the actual original injury. I'm hands down now in my mid-30s, stronger, more powerful. I'm able to do things like calisthenics moves that I never could do before because of that support that I had. And yeah, it is commitment, mindset, and then being in a container with a like community of people, the right direction and the right support to be able to like smash that. So it's totally possible, but it's not something that I would say I could have done on my own.
And then the final thing really I think that's great to highlight is you did all of this, and then you just were like, fuck it, I want to become a director of an online coaching company. So how did you go from injury to athlete to rowing champ to now, you know, trying to actually create a business that can do the same for everyone?
Fundamentally, the journey that I went on with you as a coach was life-changing. If you think about where I was before, I was just doing my Muay Thai, I was doing a lot of conditioning. I actually wasn't that strong in terms of where I was at. My skill level was lower. I then went through major injury, the support of programming, the actual mental wellness that I got from being able to achieve all these things. In my previous role, I'd been a coach for a really long time. I love helping people. And then realizing that the philosophy that you apply to your coaching, your programming, and the support and enthusiasm and genuine passion that shines through when you coach people, I was kind of like, damn, I kind of want to be involved with that. And that's the kind of energy that I want to help people change their lives with as well. Because if it works so well for me, mid-30s, everything's working, like I'm better than I was before, then, you know, there's so many more people out there like me that I know that we could help. So essentially ended up being like, yo, can I come and coach with you? And that's developed into, you know, helping lead the team and building the brand of Different Breed and being able to try and help as many people as we fucking can now. Let's go.
Woo! Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
We're done.
that's take. Nice. That was pretty impressive, actually.